Hi, I'm Officer Laura Peckham. I'm the supervisor of the Animal Control Unit at the Citrus County Sheriff's Office. Please join us this half hour for a look behind the scenes in the life of an animal control officer.
Hi, this is Rafael Cabrera, leader of the pack with Casita Big Dog Rescue, sponsored by ValuePetSupplies.com. We are here today with Officer Terry Funderburk from Citrus County Sheriff's Department. He is one of the animal control officers for Citrus County. We're going to be going along with Terry today on a drive along to see what kind of trouble he can get into. Basically to see how he can help the community out. He is one of the branches of the Citrus County of the Sheriff's Department from Citrus County. Very unappreciated job. We're here today to shed some light on a positive note on what these people have to go through on a daily basis. Terry, again, we want to thank you for allowing us to come along today. We're much appreciative of this. And what are some of the things we might incur today?
Good morning, Raphael. Thank you very much. Some of the things we're going to work on is dealing with existing open cases in reference to animals that have killed family-owned livestock. We're going to deal with some follow-ups on horses that have been fostered through the Citrus County Animal Shelter. Part of the fostering program is the animal control officers will do follow-ups to make certain that the animal owners or the new adopters are taking care of the animals in compliance with their adoption provisions. And the other stuff will just be whatever comes across the computer screen. It can be anything ranging from livestock loose to cats and traps to dog bites. Sometimes we get calls that aren't credible calls in reference to animal attacks, and unfortunately those we'll just have to decipher as we go along.
As you can see, they're not just quote-unquote dog catchers. People have a very misunderstood notion of what these people do. They deal from everything from dogs to reptiles and everything in between. So, except for wildlife, and we'll get into all that later. So continue watching, follow us, follow Terry as we go and pursue some of our problems for the day. Thank you. Well, here we're in the truck right now, the animal control officer's truck, Mr. Officer Funderburk, and we're on our way to where exactly? Terry, you just got a call over the radio, dispatch call. Where are we heading right now?
We're heading to East Gulf Lake Highway. It's one of the main arteries through the county. And a citizen's called in. In most normal and usual cases, it's not a call that we would normally respond to because it's a deceased deer that's been struck by a vehicle. The vehicle's gone, the deer's left there. For the community, the sheriff still wants us to try and do the things that we can to assist them with the service part. If the animal was in the middle of the road, it would be an obstruction. The road department would take care of that. Being that the animal's on the berm of the road or the edge of the road or the side of the road, we'll go ahead and try and, we will not transport it, but we'll remove it and bury it or drag it off into the wood line for the citizen. It's not a common role for us to assume FWC, for Florida Wildlife and Game, Freshwater and Game Fish Commission responsibilities in reference to wildlife. They're short-manned, and when we get into situations where we have alligators, raccoons, the deer, in most instances, someone will pass a email or a courtesy call to them. 99.9% of the time, they will ask the sheriff's office to go ahead and assist them because they're short-manned. The concern about the raccoons, which, you know, they're like kittens and cats. They have litters and litters at certain times of the year. Yeah. And when they have those litters, juveniles and adults will come down with distemper and or rabies.
Oh, that's not good.
With that at hand, when an animal starts to show physical signs of lethargy or sickness or illness, citizens will call saying the animal's been in the yard during the daytime and a significant length of time, and they'll call a supervisor to come out and assist us. And this same process, you know, they'll be humanely euthanized those animals are not tested for distemper. They are not tested for rabies unless there's human contact.
I see, right, unless there's an injury, a scratch or a bite, either or, correct, is considered the same thing. A scratch also from a raccoon would be considered something that they would have to do a rabies evaluation on that particular animal?
Correct, for the well-being of the individual.
Of the individual.
Yes, sir. The true telltale for that is, and people don't like to hear the reality of it, what happens is the brain is what's affected. The command center is affected by distemper and by rabies. If distemper and rabies were to stand beside each other, they mirror each other, they look identically the same. The only difference is the test will truly depict whether it's rabies or distemper. Distemper to humans is not necessarily going to be a killing, but the rabies is definitely a killer.
Yeah. What kind of advice can you give the average, Joe public, if they encounter a wild animal on their property? What is the best thing for them to do?
Leave it alone.
Exactly. And then after that?
If they have left it alone and it's not willing to leave, they need to call authorities, whether it's the Freshwater Game Commission or their local sheriff's office.
Okay, so the best thing to do is if you do encounter a wild animal on your property, be it a raccoon to an alligator, leave it be, contact the proper authorities. Do not try to take matters in your own hand, because 9 times out of 10 you will get hurt, correct?
That is correct.
And now let me understand something. How many animal control officers are there for Citrus County?
There are 6, including 1 supervisor.
How do you divvy up the sections of where you're going to be working that particular shift?
We we work on the patrol channel just like the deputies do. They assist us in every scenario that they possibly can, because they know that we're shorthanded. One officer is scheduled to work from the north end of the county to the south end of the county to the middle of the county, and then another officer works the west side of the county from the north end of the county to the south end of the county, and they meet in the middle. The third officer that given day, depending upon who has the heaviest call load, will float from one side of the county to the other.
I see.
And it may be a situation where if one side of the county is busy all day, 2 officers will try and work that area the whole day.
Okay, so that's a lot of ground to cover.
We may run about 300, maybe about 300 miles a day.
Wow. And it's a constant, I would imagine. And we're just coming up on our deceased deer, and it is a little bit of an eyesore on the side of the road, and I would imagine it could be a little bit of a health risk as well, because it is a pretty populated area here. Like Officer Funderburk was explaining, this is a young doe, and this is a highly populated area with these animals. So this is pretty common in the state of Florida. So what we're going to do now is we're going to assist Officer Funderburk in removing this carcass. We're going to probably just take it and drag it over into the side of the woods there. Tear for us, yeah. This is Rafael Cabrera with Casita Big Dog Rescue, and this is my rescued American Bulldog, Big Lug. Thanks to our sponsor, ValuePetSupplies.com, Lug and I are able to save dogs at our shelter. Every purchase you make at ValuePetSupplies.com helps in saving these beautiful dogs from being destroyed. Follow us on Casita Big Dog Rescue YouTube channel. Buy from our sponsor, ValuePetSupplies.com, and you could be part of saving these majestic animals. Save a life, adopt a rescued pet. Right, Big Lug?
Now what we're going to is going to be, this is an open case that I haven't written citations on yet. A call came in the other day. It took about 6 hours to work the call. 5 dogs, 4 pit bulls, and 1 large retriever had jumped into a very contained pasture where the family had 7 or 8 large adult goats, not little pygmy goats.
Yes.
They range from the ages of 3 years of age to 12 years of age, and the people that had them all those years, they're pets, and they have 3 donkeys. The dogs got in there and killed 4 of the large goats and injured 3 of them so bad that the owner had to go ahead and humanely euthanize them. And as property of, he can do that without a veterinarian. So he had to shoot his 3 other goats that were so badly injured. The process with that is the young man that owned 3 of the dogs, which was a boyfriend, could not afford the medical care for one of the dogs that was injured during this very, very, very long all-night event. He signed that dog and the other 2 dogs over because he could not afford to even pay a casual $65 citation, much less medical care for the 1 dog.
Wow.
Hello.
What's up?
Your daughter called using your address.
Oh, yeah, well, this is her address. Yeah, technically it's a legal it's her mailing address and legal address. Yeah, she's trying to figure out a way to maybe fight to get her dog back. She has never shown an ounce of interest in anything.
I know when I took him in, I walked him past the rabbits.
And I told her that.
And he went, bam, to the kitchen, and I was like, that's a little weird.
I told her that, you know? I did tell her that, and because I don't want her to hurt twice.
Yeah.
I really don't. This is killing her. I mean, it's it's heartbreaking. And I be honest with you, I find it hard to believe that he was, the assertive aggressor in this. Other than the fact that you said he was covered in blood, which I'm sure when you get one animal start and a pack goes, they all tend to get involved.
Mentality. Yeah.
I mean,
I'll say to her, I'll extend to her, she can contact the shelter and talk to the veterinarian and see what the veterinarian says. But the dog's in their possession now. Yeah. They have possession of it. So I haven't issued citations yet. That's going to be this weekend.
She says, Mom, I just can't believe in my heart that he is going to be an aggressive animal after this.
Here's the bad thing about that. If he is.
There's no way to know.
And if he does it again, the liability now becomes not just yours, but the county's, the sheriff's office, and everybody's because of the event that occurred. He said that she had called and said she was moving out of state. And that's fine too, but before she moves out of state, he'll be deemed dangerous. Yeah. And he'll go to that state.
Follow him.
And
I don't think she realizes that.
Yeah, it's just not something we can't.
Do me a favor. It's not by her job. Maybe you can explain this to her.
Yeah, okay.
Please.
Thank you. I'm gonna go talk to the daughter again. I have suspicion of the one particular dog that may not have been an aggressor. She owns the one of them. Mm-hmm. But I've been to court of law, and I don't feel comfortable putting him in your neighborhood tonight and me going home and going to bed not knowing if he's going to get out somewhere and attack your dog or your granddaughter or your... So I don't have any confidence in waving a magic wand for this particular dog. Yeah. And unfortunately, I don't want to put any of them asleep.
Right.
But my responsibility to the safety of the community is...
The community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 2 parts to it.
Okay.
One is you signed them over.
I know.
We had that conversation about dangerous dog or sign over. Do you want to, if you want to, we won't go through the sign over part. We can go through all those steps.
Okay.
I can't answer the legal question for you on that since you signed them over. My knee-jerk answer to that is, it's kind of like if it was a vehicle and I signed my car over to you, I've signed it over, it's yours. If you've signed them over to the county, like we did, my knee-jerk answer is the county owns them. That was the whole intent purpose of that. Did your mother explain to you, I know you called in and said you were moving out of state. And
yeah, if I got him back, I would have just moved.
They still be deemed dangerous. And when they go to another state, you're going to have to comply with their dangerous dog rules, and I don't know what they are wherever you would go, even if you go to another county.
How would they know he's dangerous?
Because he'll be deemed dangerous in Citrus County. He'll be microchipped. He will be identified wherever you're moving to. We'll know. I mean, he's tracked.
He'd be tracked.
Can't hide him.
Yeah, but so okay, so if I do get him back, if I do, would people come and check to make sure he's in
Without a doubt, 100%.
Like every day?
All it takes is one time, is revocation.
When I go to jail?
Yes. And I'm not impressed.
No, these guys kind of thin. This is Rafael Cabrera with Casita Big Dog Rescue, and this is my rescued American Bulldog, Big Lug. Thanks to our sponsor, ValuePetSupplies.com, Lug and I are able to save dogs at our shelter. Every purchase you make at ValuePetSupplies.com helps in saving these beautiful dogs from being destroyed. Follow us on Casita Big Dog Rescue YouTube channel. Buy from our sponsor, ValuePetSupplies.com, and you could be part of saving these majestic animals. Save a life, adopt a rescued pet. Right, Big Lug? Do you have an active dog? Is he a little bit hyper? You want to find something for him to do? Floppy ear Kong Wubbers. They're great. We use them here at Casita Big Dog Rescue. They drain all that bad energy that your dog has. It's a wonderful toy. The floppy ears keep them entertained. It has a squeaky sound to it. That keeps their attention. Remember, floppy ear Kong Wubbers. Drain that bad energy. This is the way to go. You want to get your dog's attention and something healthy for them? Beef Achilles tendons by Valuable Bully Sticks. We don't only cater to large dogs, we love our small dogs as well. This is one of the fine products that will keep them busy, keep them occupied, and make sure they stay out of mischief. This is one of the fine products you can find at ValuePetSupplies.com through Valuable Bully Sticks. This is the Achilles beef tendon. This will keep these guys occupied. They love them. So we're on our way now to Floral City to speak to a gentleman that Terry's had dealings with in the past. And what are the circumstances with this right now?
He's just borderline for minimal care, and he will do everything that we ask him to do. But he's kind of the kind of person, unfortunately, we have to babysit, and that's another one of those hats. I could write him citations and beat him up and, you know, rake him over the coals. That's not going to achieve anything. You try to build a relationship with the person to respect you enough to do what you're asking. You're really telling him, but you ask him to do it.
Right.
And as long as we keep checking on him, then I know he won't slip too far behind and he can catch up. He's a little overdue as far as a checkup. He'd gone through a divorce. His wife had, according to him, had been on methamphetamines, not feeding the animals. The animals got very poor. A very brutal divorce about property and belongings. He will probably mention that when we're there. Not a bad person, just a bad situation. And instead of seizing 13 horses from him, putting the burden on the county, not knowing where the horses are going to go, I still know where the horses are. He's brought the care up to what's an acceptable level for the horses, and again, kept them in the home they were in. Somebody else is providing for them instead of the county having to try to provide for them, and I can still keep my eyes on them. You know, they've not been adopted out to somebody out of county or something where I can't check on them. Okay. And things you have to check. You have to look in livestock trailers because they'll put dogs in there and leave them in there all day. You got to check all that stuff. Hey guys. Hey, everybody looks pretty good, huh? Hey, Patrick being pretty good to you guys, huh? Yeah, I know. You're a little thin.
So this is just some of the work that these guys have to go through every day on a daily basis. They have to come out here, had to climb a fence to get in here. They do have the rights to come on people's property when it comes to animals. Officer Funderburk was explaining to us as to where some of the deputies do not. They have the right to come in, to investigate, to open up an investigation, just to make sure that everything is being done the way they stipulated in their first agreement. So that's what Officer Funderburk is here now to do.
And I'm not impressed.
No, these guys kind of thin.
Yeah. So that's why you do your follow-ups. So him and I'll have a...
So what are you looking at exactly here, Terry, that's making that you have a concern about with these cattle?
Well, I'm looking at the some of the breeds of cows, old cracker cows and stuff, there's a ton of breed cows. Some of the breed cows are supposed to look poor.
I see.
If they look a little poor, that's one thing. What you're looking for is hips and pins. Hips and pins are like us, your hips and your pins. And when they're sticking up predominant like that, the pins are like where the back legs come up to the hips.
Correct.
If you see this cow coming up, you see where, I'd say his butt area, his lumbar is a little thicker.
Yeah.
You see the one over there, it looks so poor and skinny?
Yes, you can see those points, those pins are actually sticking out much more further.
Right, so some of them are getting nutritional value and some of them are poor and poor. The other part is he's got a round bale of hay out here.
Right.
And there's nothing inside. So how can they, these animals are supposed to be able to graze all day. Pasture here, there's no ability for them to graze. So he's got a thing to hold the round bale, but what he's probably doing is he's probably buying a round bale and he's throwing little bits at a time in. That doesn't work for me.
Wow.
So see with this guy here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mandate in 24 hours, he's gonna be putting that feed in there for those cows or he's gonna be going to see the man.
Well, here we are. These are some of the tools that Officer Funderburk is going to be using during the course of his days, helping to trap, catch animals, wild animals, domestic animals, whatever have you. He's got a various assortment, and we're going to have him explain to us what each one is. So Terry, please, if you can elaborate a little bit on each one.
Yep. In brief, this is simply what we use is for removing collars off dogs that are aggressive in the vehicles or removing off tethers. Common, usual catch pole. There's nothing really great and specific about these. People get scared of them. They're really easy to utilize. It's very simple. Once you slip the noose over the animal's neck, you simply pull on the cable. It draws the noose in, depending upon the animal's size. We utilize these for raccoons. We utilize these for cats. We utilize these for dogs. This is a tool called a snappy snare. Snappy snare works in the instance when you have a dog that's confined in a backyard and you're trying to quickly, I'd say, lasso him like a cowboy, I'd say. What happens is you hold this with your thumb, like so. When the dog darts through you narrow a dog to the corner. Once you narrow the dog to the corner, as he's running through there, you'll take this, let go, and it's snappy snare around his neck and you got him. This is officer discretion to utilize this tool. This one also can be used for a variety of things, but on top of the collars that we talked about for the first one, but this is a implement for a snake. The two last tools of the small arsenal that we carry with us, this is nothing but a simple net that's been provided for, again, one of the variety of livestock and type things we do, birds and waterfowl and things like that. Some instances it's been used for small animals. And one of the tools that's one of our last used tools is a simple pump air rifle. It's a pistol. It's made by Benjamin Sheridan. It'll house a 1cc tranquilizer dart. The medications we carry in a controlled box locked on the patrol unit and we're mixed dependent upon the animal. Very, very resourceful tool. There's 6 bays on the patrol unit. There's 1 bay on the patrol unit that will accommodate a large dog trap. That is this bay. This door is larger than any door on the truck, and it'll allow you to put a large dog trap in here. Open this center compartment door, slide the trap in, deliver for dogs that we're trying to trap in the community that are at large. This is just another casual bay that the dogs are kept in. Again, all these bays are lighted with LED lights, and for lack of better terms, it's not central air, but it is central air. The compartment temperature can be kept around 78 degrees year-round, even through the hottest of August.
If you could elaborate on this chain that's in here right now, can you tell us a little bit about that, Terry, please?
Yep, these were, I picked up 3 pit bulls that someone had staged on a piece of property in the woods, not on a particular piece of property. They did that so that nobody could find the owner. These chains, this one in particular still houses the dog's collar, was around his neck. This chain weighed in at about 87 pounds. This is a towing chain for a tow truck.
This is what they had tethered to a dog. outside. A dog that weighed probably about 40 pounds?
About, yep. I can hardly lift this chain up. I mean, it's massive.
Yeah,
this is around the dog's neck every single day. These are the cat tongs that I mentioned earlier. You'll see that they're made specific on the end for the cat's neck, not to hurt the cat, just to hold the cat.
Use that many a times at the shelter,
yeah.
Trying to catch loose cats.
Along with that, the sheriff's office makes certain that we have safety cones. Sometimes when there's a bad traffic accident, we'll put those out. If a patrol unit breaks down, we'll put those out, which that never has happened, but they're there for that.
Well, we want to thank you all for watching. We know today's show is a little bit different than you're normally used to watching. We wanted to be a little bit more informative onto what the officers have to go through on a daily basis. We want to give kudos out to all the animal control officers, especially to Officer Funderburk. And we want to put a special thanks out to Sheriff Dorsey for making this happen, Supervisor Laura Peckham, and also for all the deputies out there. This show is dedicated to all you people that put yourself out there and all you first responders. Thank you for everything that you do. Terry, it's been a very informative, it's been a great day. Really do appreciate everything that you do for the community, for the animals here, for the people's well-being as well. We'd be lost without you. So these are the people you really want to give respect and kudos to. So again, when you see them, run to them, don't run from them. These are the people that are on our side.
Spay and neuter.
That's right.